But actually, then there's one. You ready? Yeah, you can go. Okay. I call the December 12th Board of Meeting, Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So if you have something that's not on the agenda.
Yes, I make a motion to add a brief conversation with the building official to the agenda at the second.
So the motion's been made and seconded to add a brief conversation with the building inspector to the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Go ahead.
So I had some questions that I wanted to ask Rick, and I just asked him rather than going through, we just went through what we talked about.
Oh, well.
So my concern was that Rick, in his capacity as building inspector, had sent the what do you call it, condemnation notice to.
Yeah, basically, we condemned the building, because it was unsafe.
And this is what number Church Street?
40,
9, 8, whatever Church Street, the property across the street from the post office.
Right, the one that's boarded up now.
Yes.
But yes.
and, so we have the authority to condemn a building, but after it's condemned, that's as far as we go as a building official. You know, so, without having anything in your ordinances or whatever, to this point, it's like, in Plainfield, we had the same situation. We had to do legally through the lawyers to get the people out of there and to condemn the building. But after that, there was a lien put on the building, so when it did get sold at a later date, the town got their money back. But it seems like, I think these people here, unless we give them more of a push than we did. Yeah, I thought we gave them a pretty good push because they came in right away. Like I was telling you earlier, within a week or so, they came in and what can we do? What can we do? You know, and then that's about as far as we got.
Do you have a recommendation on what we would need in the way of ordinances? Just as a starting point, or?
I think there should be something where there's a time limit. Because like we gave, even the letter, we told them we wanted them to contact us within 30 days, and they did. But that's the only thing we have to do that. Yeah. But we don't have nothing to follow that up, nothing to say that after 30 days, what's going to happen, you know? So I'm thinking that, you know, the town needs something a little more to put a little, you know, oomph behind it.
Can you review for us what fines and penalties are in your capacity to place on?
There's this, for me, there's none. No, all I can do is condemn the building. That's all I can do.
So the fines would be,
We would need a new ordinance for that, right?
I'm thinking so, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation with the town lawyer about, as the next step.
that'd probably be the same thing as the blight ordinance as far as, because there's a whole section in that about the fines and
Yeah, I remember reading that.
yeah, it would be that part with the review board and the same thing
Sure.
with the review board committee and all that.
What I was wondering is to provide guidance to Rick or whoever should be serving his capacity in the future, that there's, you know, either a protocol or some timeline where a letter goes out, 30 days to respond. You know, within 60 days from that point, the property owner provides an action plan on how they intend to remediate the problem. And they have 90 days from that point to actually get the remediation
Exactly. That's
accomplished.
exactly
And if it's not done at that point, they've done it half a year.
Yeah.
And if they choose to do nothing after half the year, then the
That's when any potential
that's when
fines start
the
kicking in.
carrot period ends, and that's when the
Okay.
stick comes out.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, nothing ever happens.
exactly.
Stop, or I shall say, stop,
Right.
yeah.
And, you know, willing to work with you in whatever way you want to make this happen. And I thought the blight ordinance was a good idea. But if we're not gonna go that route, we gotta do something on the other side to actually
Yeah.
You know, create some leverage to make
Right.
people do something. Rick brought up another point, which I think is extremely important. If somebody is injured in a property that has not been condemned, that is, you know, a hobble or
Right.
a blowdown, breakdown, whatever you want to call it. The town could potentially have legal liability because the property owner can say, we never knew it was condemned.
Mhm.
So
do we have liability if we say a property is condemned at that point? Because the town, no,
Then you're pushing the liability onto the owner.
right.
okay,
Because you told them that nobody's supposed to be there and we boarded it up to make it safe.
So on the heels of this, my suggestion would simply be, as I have said to Skip before the meeting, just on North Shore at Fort Hill Road, I can think of 3 properties that could be condemned tomorrow.
yeah, there's another 2 on Shetucket
And
that I know of.
there are
Yeah.
plenty, and at some point, we simply have to track it. And I know it's just gonna piss people off, but the reality is, you know, why should the town suffer, you know, the consequences of a property owner who is grossly irresponsible and is willing to allow the town to hold liability for that?
The thing is, like I was saying to you earlier, though, is for me to condemn a building, it has to be, can't just look bad. Has to
No, I
be-
understand.
Right.
Really has to be unsafe.
And
Is there specific criteria that you use for
Oh, yeah,
condemning?
it's like I was saying to you earlier, that the one on Church Street, you can see the roof was starting to collapse. So to me, that's very unsafe, you know, so,
Structural,
Yeah.
lack of structural
Right.
integrity.
but just, broken windows and looking terrible. And that's, yeah,
No, so it's gotta be an actual danger, not look bad, but actual dangerous.
actual danger, yeah.
Okay,
And then we have, like you said, like we did right away, as soon as we gave them that letter, we boarded up the building to make it as safe as possible until something else got done to it.
and I think that would address the way Rick just described that is condemning a building is for danger, not appearance. And that I know was some of the concerns that you had brought up against the blight ordinance about how do we, what's the standard that we use? And I think that's a very clear standard there that in someone with the knowledge and experience, like a building official says, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
So-
I said, that's my job. I have no problem. If you guys want me to look at anything, I'll look at anything you want. You know, but, I says, I have to look at it as, it has to be a danger.
Right.
so in his capacity, he's not going to be proactive in the sense that he's going out and looking for condemned buildings. We have to bring to him, or he needs to receive information on buildings that appear to be borderline.
Right. Is this building safe or not safe?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all one fine that there are people who are paying property taxes on properties that should be condemned. That's their right. They're the property owner. But if they're creating a peril or a hazard for the community, that's what needs to
Yeah,
be
it's different
addressed.
story.
Thank you.
Not a problem, anytime.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah, just like, we just tore down a high school, the old high school in Plainfield. And, we boarded it up, I would say over a year ago. And, without exaggeration, on a weekly basis, the boards are taken off and kids are still going inside. So it got to the point where and then we were boarding this thing up continuously. And, so finally, because we had such a hazard and we couldn't keep kids out, we actually, then we were able to, the town was able to tear it down without even going any further because it was that much of a safety hazard. So it can be to a point where it is really unsafe, you know, so you have a little more authority there because, you know, it was very dangerous, you know,
Yeah.
you know, you only can do so much, but kids want to get in, they get in. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did you do next when the plywood was working? Steel plates bolted on?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe what we're doing and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Idle hands, the devil's playground.
yeah, and if you went inside that building, that was very unsafe. I mean, the beams are falling. Yeah, it was that bad. It really had to come down.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
We have no citizens.
Approval of the minutes.
For the minutes, I make a motion that they be approved as written.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the November 28th meeting. Any discussion?
Nope. Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, there. Correspondence and announcements. I received, I mentioned it at the last meeting, but I actually received letters from the Yukon School of Engineering, for the Transportation, Institute. 3 letters, letting me know that Ronald Wheeler, Jeff Laney, and Ira Kettle, who are a Public Works, have completed the Connecticut Road Master Program. And they were honored during the 2023 Connecticut Training and Technical Assistance Center graduation ceremony. They completed 7 workshops: basics of a good road, all about asphalt, principles of drainage for local roads, on-the-job safety and OSHA regulations for local personnel, work zone safety for maintenance operations on local roads, planning and managing local roads, snow and ice control activities, and effective communication skills. And they also did 2 elective workshops, but not listed. So, these workshops were all, full day workshops, that they all attended, and these will go in their folder so that they, it's on record there.
Nice.
And let's see. Tuesday, I don't think yet, still Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m. will be held a virtual public information meeting for the Forge Hill Bridge. So this is with the DOT and CHA engineering company. So this will be the public's time to learn about what's going on, and it will be virtual. And that's all I have.
Did we ever get an update from the state on the BMX track
Nope.
from the public meeting? The bike track,
Not
BMX,
but mountain bike.
mountain bike, sorry.
Yeah.
Dating myself a little bit there.
No, I haven't heard anything. I don't know where that project is there.
Yeah, because it kind of went radio silent after there was supposed to be a public hearing and nothing.
All right, public works report, I don't have any. And we'll move on to the finance report, which brings us to the presentation by King and Associates of our audit report for fiscal year 23. Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Is it possible to share my screen? We've got a PowerPoint to put up for you guys.
Yes.
It says that it's disabled. I don't know if you have to go in and enable it.
Mission.
Anybody can share. You know, the ability to share.
Yeah, it's working now. Okay, can everybody see it?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we put together this PowerPoint. It's got some page numbers in it. It'll refer back to the audit report. So you can kind of, if you wanted to go back later and look at something, it'll have the page to refer to. And I'm also joined with Jessica. She was the lead on the audit. Is your camera working, Jess?
Good on you.
Did you go on mute as well?
Yeah, you guys are on mute.
She's working on trying to get her camera to come up. So I'll keep going. So here's a basic overview. You have your annual financial statement audit. You have your audit report, pages 1 to 3. Pages 4 through 10 is management's discussion and analysis section. It gives management a chance to talk about some of the changes that have happened from year to year. Basic financial statements and notes, pages 11 to 39. The required supplementary information, the pension and OPEB schedules is pages 40 and 41. And then you have some other supplemental schedules on pages 42 to 52. You also have a Connecticut state single audit. It's a grant compliance audit for when you spend more than 300,000 in state money. For this year, you did not have a federal single audit. If you spend over 750,000 of federal money, you'll have to also do a federal single audit. And then there's also the Board of Education EFS procedures. They're testing procedures specified by Connecticut State Department of Education to be performed on the Board of Education, and it results in its own separate AUP report that goes to Connecticut State Department of Education.
Council, question, please.
Yep.
OPEB's, other post-employment benefits, other than the school district and what they do for the teachers, what other post-employment benefits do we have?
You guys just have the TRB OPEB, the teacher one.
The 457 plan.
Yep, and you have your defined contribution pensions, but
Right.
just for OPEB, you have the teacher one.
Okay.
Is that their 401B?
403B.
403B?
That's separate.
Is that separate from that?
That's a supplement, I believe.
Okay.
This is probably small on the TV there, but I'll just kind of flip through the audit report to kind of match up with the PowerPoint. So you have your audit report, pages 1 to 3. You got a unmodified clean opinion for fiscal year 2023. Pages 4 through 10. This is the management's discussion and analysis. It's kind of a high-level overview. Pages 11, that's the start of your basic financial statements. So on page 11 here, you have the government-wide statement of net position. This statement is prepared on the full accrual basis of accounting. So it includes all the capital assets and your long-term liabilities. Page 13, this is your governmental funds balance sheet. This is prepared on the modified accrual basis of accounting. So this one doesn't include any long-term debt or the capital assets. It's more near-term focused. So page 13 is where our first slide will be. So page 13, your general funds, total fund balance was 1.8 million. The components of what make up the fund balance can be seen later in the report on page 31. The Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, recommends that you keep 2 months of annual revenues in surplus, about 16.67%. Your general fund balance is 19.5% of the annual budgeted revenues. Also on page 13, the general fund's unassigned fund balance was 1.4 million. Your policy, which shows up on page 23, is to aim for a general fund balance between 8 and 12% of total operating general fund expenditures. The unassigned general fund balance is 15.4% of total general fund operating expenditures for fiscal year 23. Page 14. So this is a reconciliation that gets you from page 13, the governmental fund financial statements, to page 11, the government-wide financial statements. So it just shows how it kind of adds in the capital assets and backs out the long-term liabilities. Page 15, statement of revenues, expenditures, changes in fund balances for your governmental funds. Your general fund had a decrease in fund balance of 138,000. You had anticipated to use, I think it was about 500,000 of fund balance. So you ended up better than you anticipated. I'm coming to page 17. So this is your budgetary basis statement. This is slightly different than the previous statement we just looked at, which was modified accrual. On page 24 at the bottom, there's a little reconciliation that shows how it gets from the budgetary basis and the changes to get to your GAAP basis, which is on page 13. The major differences are grossing up the on behalf payments that the state contributes for your TRB, along with if you do financing and leases, it shows up for GAAP basis, but obviously it's not in your budget. Here's a 3-year trend. We like to put the chart in here just so you can kind of see how your fund balance is trending. This is the general fund only, and it shows unassigned and assigned over the last 3 years. So it bumped up in 22, 23, it went down a little bit with the decrease of 130,000. Continuing in the report, page 18 starts the notes. Note 1 is the accounting policies of the town. It's mostly boilerplate with slight modifications to tailor it to the town. Page 23, so here's one of the modifications, your unassigned fund balance policy. It says, in the event the unassigned fund balance is greater than the 12%, at the end of any fiscal year, the excess may only be used in one or a combination of these following ways: transfer excess to the debt service fund for future debt payments, transfer an excess to capital or non-recurring for future capital, or use directly to reduce the tax rate in a subsequent year. So on pages 29 and 30, this is your long-term liabilities and the related amortization tables. In 2023, you guys issued a new, you purchased a dump truck with financing. So you can see the addition of the 256,000. There's also an amortization table. So your debt service payments for the next till 2033 are about 80 to 70,000 a year, which is not too bad. The Board of Ed also renewed a copy release with GASB 87, which went into effect last year. The lease gets picked up as a long-term liability. So you'll see a lease payable of 85,000 at the end of the fiscal year. And lease payments over the next 5 years are about 22,000 a year.
Geez, don't want to see this copy.
Going to page 33. So you have the teacher's retirement pension. You also have the teacher's retirement OPEB. Currently, the town isn't responsible for any of the liability as the state picks up the whole thing. If you were responsible for it, the liability would be 9.1 million. The amount that the state kicked in for the contribution to the pension on your behalf for the teacher's retirement was 721,000. Looking at the teacher's retirement OPEB, again, you're not responsible for it, but if you were, your liability would be 802,000, and the state kicked in 10,000 for you for that one. Oh, going back to page 31. So for fiscal year 24, you assigned 380,000 of your general fund balance to balance the budget. Pages 38 and 39. So we have some upcoming pronouncements. Every year they like to issue some more pronouncements just to make everything a little more difficult. The next one that'll impact you guys will probably be GASB 101, which is the compensated absences. That won't go into effect until your fiscal year 2025, so you still have a little bit of time before that. Going to pages 42 to 48. So this is a detail of your budgetary statements. You can see that you appropriated about 500,000 of fund balance. There was nothing other really significant except for in the snowplow lease line, a payment had to be made early to purchase a truck, which pushed you over budget in fiscal year 23. Looking at the tax collector schedule, at June 30, 2023, you had 198,000 of outstanding taxes receivable. We like to compare this to your current levy for the year. For June 30, 23, the outstanding receivable was about 3.1% of the current levy. And we normally see it between 2 and 8%, so you're at the bottom of the favorable range. And then that's going to take us to the state single audit if nobody has any questions on the main audit report.
Please continue.
Go ahead, Jess. You could just use the audio.
Camera decided not to work, so we're just gonna go with what I have. So the state single audit report is when the town spends more than 300,000 of state money. So on page 6, there is 3.16 million total assistance. And 2.2 million is education cost sharing.
Can everybody hear Jessica or no?
Just barely.
Yeah, we can barely hear.
Okay. I think it's coming through probably my mic because I can't hear mine. Just give me 1 second to check her settings.
You couldn't hear me at all?
Oh, that's better. Thank you.
Better. You're on mute now, though.
On my side, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I don't know how to fix
Oh, we can hear you
We
much
can
better
hear
now.
you better now. So.
it. Okay, I guess I'll go sideways. So 2.2 million is in education cost sharing and access costs. 173 is in town aid road. 320,000 is in the tiered pilot, and then 211 was early care and education. And page 8 and 9, it is the summary of the auditor's results. There was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, and identified in internal control or financial reporting. The major programs included this year were Town Aid Road, tiered pilot, and municipal revenue sharing. And also there was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified in internal control. So any questions about the state single audit?
Nope.
Nope.
So on the next slide is a management letter recommendation. So that's on the letter that I gave Julie. The first one would be that there was no formalized accounting policies or procedures manual. So we recommend that there is formalized accounting policies and procedure manual to be developed and approved by the board. I did discuss this with Julie, and she is she's been working on it, but it's not yet completed. And the next one was the budgetary over expenditure, and this was the in public works line. There was 40,000 over expended, and this was due to the payment of the 2024 Freightliner truck. And then we recommend that even though the truck was budgeted in 2024, that the town follows the required budgetary procedures when additional expenditures need to be accrued against the line item in the fiscal year. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so that takes us through the presentation portion. We'd open it up for questions. I did just check on years. There's currently 10 towns filed. So if we file it tomorrow, you guys will be the 11th town in the state filed.
169, that's awesome.
Any questions?
Just wondering, the metric that you had cited on outstanding property taxes that range between a low of whatever 1 or 2% to a high of 8.
Mhm.
And we're at 3, that sounds very, very good. Do we look at that also, or do you look at it also as well as how those receivables are aging, if they're very old or if they're
Yep.
relatively
Yes.
more-
The majority of them are from your grand list 21, 20, and 19. So they're all pretty recent.
And we can get a printed copy of this?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I'm good.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll email the copy of the PowerPoint over so you guys have it as well.
Great.
And then
Thank
we'll get the final reports bound and those will get mailed out to the town hall as well.
you. Okay,
Super.
thank you.
You're gonna put it on the website, do you think?
Yeah, we do.
Good.
We usually do.
Not that I will look it up on the website, but
Usually up
or
there.
get my email.
I won't email it to you. All right, anything else?
No,
Put it in
we're
your
good.
mailbox.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Peace. Oh my God.
Do we have to, accept that or anything, or did we do that already? Can't remember. To prove the, we can prove the other part.
Acknowledge receipt.
Yeah.
Move to acknowledge receipt of the other.
Or motion to approve, to accept the. audit report.
To accept.
That too.
Motion to accept. the audit.
Second, the accepting.
So the motion's been made and seconded to accept our fiscal year 23 audit report. Is there any more discussion?
I just want to say how pleased I am that the town is doing all it's doing, and it's a compliment to all of our faithful staff.
So,
Would you like, okay, let's finish the.
yeah, motion's been made and seconded. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carrying none, the audit report's been accepted.
Do we want to do a tour to the school to check out this printer?
85
It just came
Gs.
today.
No, the school one, so it's possible
school
it's more
printer.
than just, it's at least probably on the other side.
All of them.
I'm not thinking of. the
How many
copier.
copiers do they have for 85 grand?
They have a lot.
They
I
have
mean,
a
a
lot
good
of copiers.
copier would be what, 8,000?
I'm sure it's
No.
not one.
So in
Three.
enterprise,
copier,
they're
then
using
it's-
enterprise class copiers and they probably start at 25, 30.
Probably like three of them at least.
And then the maintenance and support, that's where you really pay for it.
So what they really meant, paperless office of the 90s was when you're 90.
All right, so
Oh, they printed.
all the school stuff.
All school stuff. Do you know how
When
many?
I was with, yeah, seven.
Books anymore? I thought we had iPads to get rid
Seven
of all
over
that.
there, you know how many time you spend at the copier trying not to jam stuff? It's a lot.
So here's my, this is just burning my memory. I had one teacher in high school who insisted on using all handouts needed for the class, the hand crank mimeograph machine.
Remember them in 6th grade, yes.
Yes, and he said, I do this because these cost 1 cent per copy versus using the photocopier, which costs 3 cents per copy. And this was in the late 80s. I was like, okay, that's just burned in there. And crank mimeograph machine, you'd sit there and just,
And they were freshly done, they had that unique smell.
yes,
And
yes.
it's Purple.
And then it was like newsprints. And it was like newsprints when you got them when they were fresh. So,
All right, old business, ARPA funds, no update.
Can I just say, a reminder, we have 12 months left to send that money.
Okay.
do we not have, didn't we have it all allocated on
Yeah,
what we wanted to spend it on?
We'll put that for the
There's
next
one that-
meeting, because we have some hanging out that haven't been worked on.
Was it the communications?
Yeah,
Radio.
so
It's probably another copier machine.
we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. go through that.
Yeah,
Fort Hill Bridge, as just what I mentioned before, the public hearing coming up in February. That'll be posted and noticed. They already changed the date once, so.
Stay tuned.
The Gate Street Road, we can probably take that right off or the next meeting. Municipal ISD,
The Gate Street, you don't want Gate Street on that one?
the master complex plan.
Are we completely done with
Yeah, we're done with the plan. The plan's done.
it? Okay.
Moved on to
the next
the
phase.
next phase, which is the steep grant, so we can just switch it.
So municipal ISP, I started looking into all our options and I'm gonna, probably right after, probably in January, I will start sitting down with John and pick his brain on what we can realistically do with the funds that are becoming available.
Okay. But the Gate Street Recreation Master Complex Plan, if that changes to the steep grant committee, because I thought that was on here, but it's not, to appoint people to it.
You wanna add that to the?
Yes, we want to add that to the agenda,
So moved.
to appoint people for the steep grant committee for the, playground.
Second, steep grant committee playground.
What's the name of the committee?
It's called, no, like the playground. Oh, it would be in the minutes.
What I'm looking for. Formation of a committee for steep.
It's the Gate Street Playground Committee.
Oh, there it is.
Gate Street Playground Committee. So motion's been made, was made and seconded.
I made the motion, he seconded.
Okay, so the
Yes.
motion was made and seconded to add, appointments to the Gate Street. what is it?
Playground committee.
Playground Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it'll be added to the agenda. No worries.
Under new business?
Yeah. Municipal ISD just went through the.
Yep.
Municipal complex improvement project steep. As you can see when you got here, we're in the process of starting the sidewalk. Replacement, so they're doing it in stages, starting with this part here. So we're hoping to pour the concrete, what did you say, tomorrow?
Yeah, for that piece.
Yeah,
So
for
we
that,
done in
piece,
4 stages.
yeah. So
Well,
it'll be
I'm
done.
sure it's to maintain access, otherwise it's
Yeah,
gonna be
That's
difficult.
why it'll be done to be able to maintain access to both buildings, so there will always be a door that people can come in, so the building will always be accessible.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna be having a meeting. This one, probably this week or next week to go
December
over,
19th. That's good.
to go over, the floor and the wall color. For the interior. Ordinances, I'll look into, the building. Inspector suggestions. And the fire station improvement design, we're in the process of scheduling and working on test pits over there for, that's, sewer, festival, whatever, septic, for the septic.
So you're trying to remember the name of the test pits, what they're.
No, it was for what they were for, the septic, for the
Yeah.
septic,
Quick test.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we're doing. That's this week. So for new business, formation of a committee for the CIF grant, we'll move that to the next meeting. Appointment to the Voluntown Sterling Transfer Station, these are reappointments. And was it Gil Grimm and, Melinda Bryan?
So moved.
Would like to be
Second.
reappointed. Okay, so motion's been made and seconded to reappoint, Melinda Bryan and, Gail Graham to the Voluntown Sterling Transfer Station.
With our thanks for serving.
Yeah, so thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none, there reappointment. We have one request for an appointment to the EDC. And it is, Ronald Waters, 158 Condon Road. He would like to be appointed to the economic development.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been very discussed. Motion's been made and seconded to appoint Ronald Waters to the Economic Development Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, he's appointed.
Are they fully staffed up?
No.
But again, our thanks go out to Ronald Waters
Yeah.
for stepping up.
We have reappointments to the Recreation Commission. Dean Whitwer, James Anderson, and Mark.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to reappoint Dean Whitwer, James Anderson, and Mark Simmons. The Recreation Commission, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
With thanks.
Opposed, hearing none, there we go. And I guess we can add the Gate Street Playground Committee. I have Melinda Bryan, Mike Kalara, James Anderson, Brian Callia, and Mark Simmons, and Julie.
So moved.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to appoint, the before mentioned to the Gate Street Playground Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none, they are, appointed with thanks. Next, we need to schedule a public hearing in a town meeting so the town can approve, the sale of 2 Church Street. And also a fire department appropriation, for a new, driveway. Oh, but that's about $60,000. I'm still getting the final.
Okay, so
We'll have that already when we do the call of the meeting, like closer to the date, so we need to call for a date. But January,
how quickly do we need to move on that?
I think after the holidays is fine, so January is good, I think. I don't
Sure.
wanna try and do anything that.
Are you looking for a specific date?
You have a calendar, really? Yeah. Sometime in January.
Could we do it the second or fourth Tuesday of the month? Please.
Yeah. January 23rd. Maybe earlier than that, or January 9th.
That's the day I'm just coming back from vacation. I will be gone for 2 weeks. You guys can do it, but I will not be here.
But we will not have support for setting everything up, paperwork and everything needed, announcements.
So we can do the 23rd.
23rd works.
Is the fire department currently without Jaws of Life, or is this?
No, this is for the current system they have right now is, an older version. From what I understand, it's not as powerful as the current ones are, just because the way that the make of cars have changed so much with their safety features. The one that they have right now it's harder to cut through the materials of the car. So this one would be, able to do that. Powered differently, and it's, stronger to cut through what they make cars of now with their safety features.
What do they do with the old one?
I don't know. I don't know, it wouldn't really be much use. Sometimes they donate stuff to other towns. But it depends.
Just, it's a town asset.
Right.
Now, is it a town asset or is it a fire company asset?
Fire company? Yeah, it's fire company. we don't count them as our, all the vehicles, everything is is counted as a fire department. So they have the option to choose what they want to do. I have a driveway permit for Wiley School Road. I didn't grab. It was a permit that had already been approved to have the physical over 2-year-old. Public Works went out to inspect, they finally put the apron on it. It's not up to, our standards of the driveway apron. It can be approved with a notice to the property owner that we're not responsible for any damage done to it because it's not thick enough. So, the flag's gonna work it out.
Is this for them to get back their driveway deposit?
Yep. So they have the option, we can use the deposit money to fix it, or they can get the deposit back and with a notification that we're not responsible for fixing. They're gonna have to.
How does that notification go forward in time? If we say,
It goes into their like property file. So
Okay.
if it's in there and they sell the house, it's a copy of the letters in the file.
So the new property owner
Well, no.
buys it, it comes in, and says your plow destroyed my road, and you turn around and say, that wasn't disclosed by the previous property owner, not our problem.
Here's the letter.
You should contact your realtor, you know, initiate small claims.
okay, as long as we've got something that, you know, insulates us going forward in time, 10, 20, 30 years from now,
Probably will come up before that.
it won't last that long. Got it.
7 and 12 is my problem, after that, not my.
And this has been discussed with Public Works, is we need to make sure that, we have a gap. There's a gap in the driveway, like packet for the driveway apron. When they get the permit, we give them a packet of all of the requirements for the apron.
Mhm.
And, they do the work and then we inspect it after. So they were talking about working with, Rick, because he goes out to the properties all the time.
Yep.
To see if he can do the in-between checking, because we don't know when they put the apron in, we can't check to see if they're building it for the requirements, and a lot of them aren't. So it's been an ongoing problem, so we're trying to figure out how to get fix that gap. To make sure that they actually are following the.
Right, because we can't see if it's thick enough after it's done without destructive testing.
Right, and some people have like this property, they had the permit out for like 2 years, so you don't know when they're building a house and. You don't know when they're gonna put the apron in, they don't. We're working on that, we're working on redoing the driveway permit application and the whole process and everything, I think it's an ordinance too, so it's something we're working on.
Do you want a motion to approve refunding with notice?
Yeah.
Motion,
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded to, refund the Wiley School Road, driveway, bond. All in favor, with a notice that, we're not,
well,
all in favor?
aye,
Opposed, carrying on. Any other business?
just a reminder, you mentioned several meetings ago that, after they had repaved Wiley School Road, because of that state grant that put up all those really obnoxious
Yeah,
turn signs and so forth, so we have to restripe the road.
yeah, we're trying to find the plans for that, because we have to put the stripes back where they were. And the stripes weren't all the way up the road, they were on certain corners. So we're trying to find the plans for that, because there's a bunch of signs that need replacing too, and there's other roads that need corner painting too. But we've been looking for that, so it's somewhere. Where it goes.
it's in the basement.
Either in the basement or
60 layers of dust.
Yeah.
With notice,
because Public Works is looking for it just for that reason. We already have a contractor to paint the line, we just have to find it really.
Gotta give up land. Okay,
Okay, no,
motion to adjourn.
motion's been made and
Second.
seconded to adjourn. All in favor of
Aye.
adjourning? Aye.
Aye,
All right. We're adjourned. Thank you.
we're out.
What was I saying? Perfect.
The, STIP grant